best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And we are pleased to present to you the owners of that fine company, referred to as Low Overhead Company, Frontier Motors, here live in the studio, ready to take your phone calls, should you care to call. Ask a question about the price of a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. You would call us at 478-3116, and then you would talk to Ivan Streckel or Ron Schneider. Good morning, gents.
Hey, Don. That was a great introduction, as always, going on 19 years. A double format here at WCOA Radio. WCOA Radio is on AM radio, 1370. We also are videotaping this for our cable and satellite subscribers. So if you're watching this on TV, don't bother calling in. But if you want to know a value of a car and you're watching on TV, you can call the dealership, which is 436-8080. I think on the bottom of your screen is probably the phone number. But if you want to join us to get a value, if you're listening to this on the radio, it's 478-3116.
Yep, and we are here to talk a little bit about values, talk about cars, and Don, you're an avid buyer from Frontier Motors.
I am. I'm on number 6, actually. Yes.
And
also, I might mention that we appreciate Frontier Motors in that you guys did go ahead with the ALS Challenge, the Ice Water Challenge.
We did.
Yes, and that's on our Facebook. If you want to see these two guys getting drenched with ice water, they're there.
And we were going to talk about the fact that we did challenge two of our local competitors. One of them is Billy Anderson and Anderson Subaru. He might not even have seen it yet. And the other one is Eddie Mercer at Eddie Mercer Automotive. So if you haven't seen it, Eddie or Billy, go for it.
It was quite interesting, and we sure do appreciate all the gathering. I think we had our whole staff there, everybody, our 25 employees were out there watching Ivan and I get doused, and Monroe Watley and Todd Gordon were responsible for that.
They did the honors.
They did the honors. And as a matter of fact, they did a fist bump at the end there after pouring water on us. But
they enjoyed it a bit too much.
Well, they went extra slow. I'm still cold.
We're talking about values and things that go on. A little bit about Frontier Motors. Like Ivan said, coming up on our 19th year, 18-year of business. November will be our 19th year. We are an independent used car lot. Independent means we don't run under a franchise sign or anything like that. Makes it easier to sell cars. It makes it easier to buy cars. One of the things that we want to talk about today when we talk about values and things that are going on is we buy cars, and we buy a lot of cars off the street. And Ivan's implemented a way to do this. And when we added Monroe Watley, it helped us just a little bit more that we can get to you pretty quick. Todd Gordon, Monroe Watley, Keisha Streckel, they do most of that. Ivan buys a lot of the cars at the auto auctions during the week. I do a lot of the sales managing and watching the sales. But those three really take care of it. So if you're out there watching and listening, and you want to sell your car, and you want to do it real easily. Now, I say easily. That means the hard way would be to put it on cars.com, autotrader.com, Craigslist, and have people come to your door. We buy cars, and you'll be surprised how much we will step up, how much we will give you for your car based on a nice car in Pensacola. So it's much easier to sell, much easier to present to the next buyer.
We're buying about 10 cars from private individuals a week, and we'd like to get that up to 20, and that's why we spend a lot of our time talking not just about Frontier Motors, but also the fact that when we sell 200 to 250 cars a month, we need to replace about 60 cars a week. So if I'm buying 10 from private individuals, that means the rest of them have to come from trade-ins or they have to come from the auctions. I would rather buy them from private individuals, and a lot of customers that put their car on Craigslist, they're a little hesitant on doing that because the first couple of pages of Craigslist, for example, are the scams that you run into. And I notice that also when I look at the ads around everything, said no scammers, no scammers. Now, if you're a scammer, I don't think I'm going to pay attention to your note that says don't scam me. So I always kind of snicker a little bit to that. No lowballers, no scammers, no people taking advantage of me. Like if you're a crook, you're a crook. What we do, folks, is if you're hesitant about doing that, why not bring the car over to Frontier Motors, let one of us take a look at it, and within 15 minutes, we can give you a concrete buy figure. And like Ron said, you'll be amazed that it's not what we call a lowball figure. If the value of the vehicle wholesale is $10,000, we're not going to offer you $6,000 for it. And I think that's what a lot of people are thinking that's going to happen, is that the dealerships are going to be there to rip you off. And there are some car dealerships that will make you ridiculous offers on your cars. But what we do is we use the Black Wholesale Guidebook, which is printed every week. We have the NEDA Guidebook that is printed once a month. This is the book that your credit union use. We don't use the Kelly or the Blue Book so much. So if you go with those values, I'm not saying that to look that up because we have the ability to look that up too. But what we do is we deal in a real value, which is what would we write the check for? Not the book value, but what will we write the check for? And we're successful. Like I said, we're buying about 10 cars a week off from private individuals like yourself. And those private individuals all thought, there's no way they're going to give me what I want for my car. Well, guess what we did? Because we felt that we could still market the car. We're not going to make as much money on it if we buy it from a private individual, but we'll still be able to sell the car. And still, the number one thing is that our customer that's buying the car gets a clean, local vehicle that has no issues and still gets a deal on it.
If your car's under 50,000 miles and you want to get an idea before you come to Frontier Motors, we got a really good way of doing this, and we make it easy, there or not there, and we can give you some ideas. And we'll go through what they call a QC call, a quality control call, ask you a bunch of questions, and we can get within probably $100 or $200. So you don't have to actually bring it there. It's easier, right. But if it's under 50,000 miles, hey, we'll do it right over the phone. We'll do it. And there's not anybody in Pensacola that will do that. If you don't want to sell it to us and you think that figure's too low, like Ivan said, maybe sometimes too high, sometimes too low, never too high, is that we'll give you a target. So if you do want to go sell it in autotrader.com or you want to do that, our bids are good for 7 days. So it makes it real easy for you to do that. So just give us a call at 436-8080. But if you'd like to join us on the show, like Ivan said, he has all these numbers in front of him, 478-3116, so we can kind of show you, listen to us on the air, watch us on the air, how we do these values.
Well, one of the advantages of seeing the car, Ron, is that when we look at the book values, let's just say hypothetically, I open the book value and it says this 2010 Toyota Sienna has an average wholesale of 11, a clean wholesale of 13. So let's say we offer you 12. Now, let's say you need more money than that. The advantage of seeing the car is that the car's got the wow factor. In other words, when we see it, we're envisioning what it looks like in our head. We don't really know. Sometimes we don't even know the color of the car. And there's a difference in the value of a vehicle that's real good looking or really ugly. And the books don't compensate for that. The book just gives you one price. What if you got a really ugly car? Well, I'm going to be conservative with the value. But let's say you got a really good-looking car. I might throw the book away and say, boy, I need this vehicle because that vehicle is so good-looking. I think it's going to bring more money because of the way it looks. And one of the reasons that customers buy a car from one dealership to the next is not so much the books, but because they like the way the one car looks over the other car. The looks is the biggest deal, which has to do also with color.
Yeah, and wow doesn't just mean color. Wow means, like I did this 2000, I had an appraisal the other day, and salesman companies, there's a 112,000-mile Dodge out there, and it's a 2004, and I'm going, okay.
So you're thinking bad already.
Yeah, I'm already got a bad
10-year-old truck with 100,000 miles on it.
Open the door. Wow. Leather's perfect. That's the wow factor.
Yeah.
Get inside and driving it. There's no trash in the vehicle. It's clean. The windshield's clean. There's no cracks. All the power windows. The air's blowing nice and cold in this out there. Wow. I drive it down the road. It goes straight down the road. I get out of the truck to walk around it. No dents, no dings. That's the wow factor. And that's what Ivan and I are talking about, that if you're trying for that extra $400 or $500, bring it to us ready to go. Bring it to us nice. Now, there's the other way. You may have lost a loved one. You may be settling an estate. Maybe if it's got a check engine light on or if it's got a bad tire, it's okay. We'll just work with you. We'll figure it out. You don't have to get it all prepped and ready to go. And then the other factor is, of course, if you owe money. Some people believe that if you owe money on a car, you really can't sell it. There's two ways that we can help you at Frontier Motors. Plan A, you can go pay the car off and bring us the title, and we'll write you a check. Plan B, which is better, I think, is you bring us the vehicle, we'll settle on the value, we'll send the payoff out. And then when the title gets back to us, we'll give you the difference. So there's Plan A, Plan B, and we've got this system going because at the beginning of the show, I said we're an independent dealership. Independent dealership means that we don't have the trade-ins. Ivan said you got influx of trade-ins. But when you're in a new car franchise, Ivan, you both and I, both of us worked at new car franchises. There's a lot of trade-ins that come out of a big Ford store or a big Chevy store or a big Dodge store. We don't have that influx. So we would rather talk to you guys out there in TV land, talk to you guys out there in radio land, and tell you that, hey, we'll buy your car if you want to buy a car from us or not.
And one of the services that we offer is a free history report. And folks, I urge you to take advantage of it. Ron, we've got a customer at the dealership right now. You weren't able to meet him, but he's there right now as we speak, and he's working with one of our salespeople. And he has a pickup truck that he bought. And I ran he wants to. He came in this morning and he wanted us to praise it because he's looking at for a new truck. We've got a 1500 Chevy on the lot that he's looking at buying. So we appraise his vehicle, and of course the first thing we do, other than take it around the block and notice that it's got a couple dings that no big deal, is we do the history report. We find out that both the Carfax and the auto check says accident reported severe damage, vehicle had to be towed.
Ouch.
On top of that, odometer rollback possible.
Ouch.
In other words, that odometer had been tampered with because it had not, it had like 100,000 miles on it, then it went down to 30,000 miles, then went back up to 100,000 miles. Of course, our question of always is where did you buy this car? I hope we didn't sell it to you. And he said, no, you didn't sell it to us. He bought it from a private individual about a year ago. And I'm thinking, like, did you call us to get the history reports? He didn't. He just took the person's word. And we're talking about a scam. To me, that's a scam. If you buy from a private individual, which is what he did. I'm not saying it was on Craigslist or a car. I don't remember how he might have saw it at the side of the road. Who knows? But one thing I do know is he was not aware of the major accident, severe damage reported. He was not aware that the odometer might have been tampered with. And the value that I have to reduce for these things are astronomical. So he pretty much got taken because he didn't take us up on the fact that we will give you a free history report. You don't have to buy a car from us. What we're trying to do is get the word out that we're actually a dealership that does something for nothing. So if you found a car at the side of the road and you want to buy it, give us the ID number. We'll not only tell you what the history report says by plugging the ID number, it also spits out the price of the vehicle, of what it should be bought for. So let's say you're looking at it and it happens to be a Toyota Tundra and it's got a clean history report. Well, next question I would ask you is, well, what do you got to pay for this thing? Because right now it's telling me it's worth about $15,000 retail. Well, they're asking 18 for it. Well, offer them 15 because if they don't take the 15, I can get you a Tundra and I'll sell it to you for 15. So there's a couple things that we can do to help you.
But anyways, those are different things that happen at Frontier Motors. What do you got in the car news
we
over
talk
there?
about this. I talked about this
like
a little bit the other day, and we got new vehicles out. And a lot of people don't know that vehicles come and vehicle go. This one thing I didn't know, Ron, is that the Jeep Liberty and the Dodge Avenger have been discontinued this year.
I can't believe they know that Liberty's a good seller for
It
us.
is. And so is the Dodge Avenger. The Chrysler 200 convertible is, right now, there's only 3 convertibles left, domestic convertibles, which is the Camaro, the Mustang, and the Corvette.
Wow.
The Dodge, I always like the Dodge, or I should say the Chrysler, because it's got a decent back seat.
4-seater, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 4-seater. Now, the Mustang's got a back seat, but it's kind of squishy in there. You know, to put your
Could be a
kids back
midget.
there. Also, the Acura TL has been discontinued, the Acura TSX, which is their small car, the BMW 1 Series, and the CTS-V, which is their hot rod supercharged motor, that's been discontinued. Now, what's new on the market is an Acura TLX, a Audi Q3, which is a small Audi, a BMW X4, Chevrolet Trax. By the way, that's a small, I looked that up. We didn't know what that was before. TRAX. That is a new small sport utility, a very small sport utility.
That's what we need.
That's what we need for you. A Honda HRV. Everybody knows what a CRV is. This is a HRV, which is smaller than the CRV.
That's what we need.
So again, small CRV. Well, people like sport utilities, but they want to
We
get
don't need
35 miles a
smaller.
gallon. Sport utilities don't normally get 35 miles a gallon. They're usually at around the 28 to 30 range. Well, to get better gas mileage on a sport utility, you got to go smaller. So that's what they're doing. Lincoln MKC, Lexus NX, that's a sports car, Lexus RC, Mercedes GLA, Mini Cooper 4-doors out, and the Ram ProMaster City, that is a Ram, a big old van. It's almost like the old, what's the Mercedes Sprinter.
You know, the Bronco's coming back, too, the Bronco 2.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Not on here
new
yet, though. It
designs.
might be next year.
Yeah, new design, the Bronco 2. I saw some stuff on the internet, just absolutely gorgeous. And the RX-9 is making a comeback also. The RX-8 has been gone for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Coming back as the RX-9. Yeah, my wife is very, very excited. You know, she's got her little RX-7. She's
Wants
ready
to
for an
upgrade.
RX-9. Oh, yeah, she can't wait. And just a gorgeous style. And they're coming out with some new motor in it and everything else. But a lot of things going on in the new car end. You know, why we talk about new cars and why we say these things is because today's new car is tomorrow's used car. You know, when Ivan buys cars and you look at some of these cars that are so close to new, here's one. Here's got a brand new window sticker. We were looking at one the other day. I had a customer in front of me, and it was a Ford Taurus. And the Ford Taurus had almost $40,000 window sticker. $40,000 window sticker.
Sticker shock.
And we were selling it for $28,500. And the customer that was with me that was buying this car, and again, we weren't selling that car. They were buying that car. They were just awed how much savings. He says, yeah, there's got to be a trick. He says, how many miles? And I said, 11,000. He says, really? You know, boom. I need the keys. And there they were. So sometimes this helps with a little bit of window stickers. There's things that we can do on the internet. We can pull up some of the window stickers. I know Ford we can, any of those kind of things. But those are some of the other free
Well,
services.
it's nice to have the window sticker because then we can show, not just tell customers about the
Oh, sure.
depreciation. We can prove it. Where we have a window sticker that says it's $50,000 and we can sell the car with 5,000 miles on it for 43. That's pretty much proof. What do you got there?
That's a Buick. Big window sticker. Original window sticker was in the glove box. We found it. Allison. She's our answers the phones and finds these little window stickers for you. Here was one that is
Encore.
$29,000. How many miles are on that Encore?
I think it's got 13,000 miles on it. We can sell it for about $23,000.
That's just crazy.
So you've got a difference right there, $6,000. Ron, when we look at in the computer, we've got a Corvette Stingray on the lot, a brand new Stingray, a 14 model. When I say brand new, it's got 1,000 miles on it, so it's really used. But we can save you about $3,000 to $4,000 over the price of a new one. We've got a 14 Camry hybrid with 600 miles on it, a 13 Sonic with 700 miles on it, a 14 Toyota RAV4 with 930 miles on it. The Miata still shows up, Ron.
Yeah, that Miata. We sold the Miata. Yeah.
Miata, okay.
Yeah.
We got a 14 GMC Terrain with 1,000 miles on it. How about a 13 F-150 Super Crew Lariat with 1,300 miles on it? I won't bore you to death, but we're trying to let the people in Pensacola know that if you're going to buy a brand new car, check out the alternative. Check out a 13 or a 14 or even some of the 15s are starting to come out on the used car market. And let's see what the depreciation is within that 6-month period. And sometimes you'll be shocked at how much you can save by buying a car that's 6 months old with maybe a couple of thousand miles on it.
Let's talk a little bit about financing. Of course, when you're talking cars, I think is about 65% of everybody we sell has to get some type of financing. Thank goodness for those that are out there that save their money, put their money away, retired and have money or something like that where they can pay cash. Is good for them. But the other 65% need financing. And financing right now in the car industry is excellent. You all see it in ads that some of the big manufacturers are offering 0, 0.9, 0, 1.9, 2.9. And it's made it easier for you to afford some of these nicer cars. And that's the only way, plus the term. Some of the credit unions will go 48, 60, and 72. Some of the banks are even going more term to help you out. And they've become competitive. Ivan was talking about we had a little meeting, our annual meeting and semi-annual meeting, I should say, and we were talking about how the economy is going. Well, the economy is going in the right direction because the banks are liking this. The banks are coming in and getting involved. And with the system that they use now, when you come to Frontier Motors and you look at this Corvette that Ivan was talking about, or you look at this Buick we talked about, you can get financing and the paperwork done in 30 minutes nowadays. You don't need to run all over town. You don't need to bring this. You don't need to bring that. You don't need to take your wife over here, your husband over here, and get this done. You can come to one location just like you've done before through GMAC, that used to be Chevrolet, Ford Motor Credit for Ford, all of these. You can come to an independent used car lot. We have right now 7 excellent lenders that make it so easy to buy the car if you want to do it on payments.
Well, actually, if you have over a 700 Beacon score, you're pretty much pre-approved.
Yeah.
We don't even need to call the deal in. Normally we type everything in. If you've got over that Beacon score, which we can run the credit score for you and let you know what your score is going to be. We do that for nothing, by the way. It does cost us a little bit of money, but we do that as another service when we talk about services. If you want to know what your credit score is, just call Frontier Motors and we'll run it for you. But if you're pre-approved, which means that we can tell you what the interest rate is, what the payment's going to be, and what the terms are going to be within a matter of seconds by just plugging it into our computer. And the nice thing about, like Ron said, is really the time frame. I always tell my customers, you want to get the best deal on the car. Why not? Why don't you want to get the best deal on the money? That's one of the things that we always talk about is that people are not as loyal to the credit union. 19 years ago, I remember the old credit unions. It was Monsanto, and you had what was the other big one that was in town? There was
Navy Bank, Navy Federal was sometimes always there. Now they've gotten huge since they got in Pensacola. Panera's gotten bigger and bigger. They got places on every corner now. All these places.
But I remember Monsanto, for example. If you had a Monsanto customer, you couldn't talk them out of going to Monsanto. I've been doing business with them for 20 years. So people were very loyal to the credit union. I see now that people are not as loyal anymore because a lot of people, like any of the credit unions, if you live in the area, you went to school, there's always like a little loophole where you can belong to a credit union without even having the criteria to belong to the credit union, which means that anybody can walk in. And right now, when you come to Frontier Motors and we have a bank that you don't even know that gives you a better deal than your credit union, I would think that you'd want to take advantage of that because the money's cheaper. As long as there's no loopholes, there's no difference. There's no prepayment penalty. There are no other fees. There's none of these things that you have to jump through hoops to be able to get that extra rate for you. and they still pay us to do the paperwork, so we still get a flat fee. So we're making money on the financing, but you're getting a better deal than you might at your bank and credit union. And of course, if the bank or credit union is cheaper, we're the first ones to tell you, then they go there to get the money.
And if you want to get pre-approved, you can go right to our website. Our website is frontiermotorsinc.com. For those out there, and the cable viewers out there, you'll see it probably running across the bottom of your screen, frontiermotorsinc.com. But you'll find all of our inventory, but you also find a little button on the side, a little, what do they call it? A little button. They don't call it a button.
Tab?
A little tab. There you go. Little tab. It's a little wood tab. You can put right on there, put your credit information in, like Ivan said, and you get pre-approved, and we can find out things instantly, fast. I saw one come in the other day. I picked it up. I asked Todd if he's seen it. He already had the credit app in his hand. It already contacted the customer within 5 minutes. And that's how fast things can go nowadays, which is neat. Again, the technology now, when we first started, didn't have this technology. Today we do, and we're glad to share it. It makes it so much easier for you to buy a car. You know, I even talked this morning a little bit about people buying cars and us selling cars. We take a lot of pride in letting you know that we want you to buy a car from us. We don't want to pound on you. We don't want to push you down. We don't want to sell you on anything. What we do want to sell you on is us. We want to sell you on the way that we do business, the way that things happen at Frontier Motors, but we want you to buy a car and feel that you're not obligated to do it that instant. If you want to do it the next day, let's do it the next day. You want to do it on Friday? Let's just do it on Friday. But makes it a little bit easier and less pressure.
Our salespeople unlock every one of our 350. Well, what do we got? What do you got, Ron? I don't think it's 350. Is it 320?
It's a lot of cars.
The amount of cars that we have on the lot right now, we run a report every day.
We could tell what they do, and I'll find out the number.
Well, we do. Our salespeople unlock every car every morning, and the reason we do that is so if you want to chop on your lunch hour, you don't have to. How many you got?
334.
Wow, 334 cars. There's a couple missing, so I'm sure we're close to 340 cars that'll be on the lot by this afternoon. And our salespeople, they have about 30 cars, 35 cars that they unlock. So every car gets unlocked. And the reason we do that, folks, is what if you're on your lunch hour? If you go to a car dealer, which most of them have their cars locked, you want to look at 6 cars, that salesman's got to jog back and forth in 95-degree heat 6 times. And the reason they do that is they want to make you feel obligated, like this guy's working really, really hard for you, so you better buy a car from him. Well, we don't do that. We unlock the cars, and like Ron said before, is that we want you to buy when you're ready, not when we want to sell you something. Obviously, we'd like you to buy a car right there when you're there. But we put ourselves in your shoes. If you will still want to look at 3 or 4 other car dealerships, if you still want to look at 3 or 4 different makes and models, why would we be the ones to talk you out of it? Our job while you're on the lot is to give you the best possible price on the particular car that you're picking out. If you've got a trade-in, we're going to give you the trade value. We're going to give you a bottom line. And we're going to do one thing that most car dealerships don't. We're going to put that in writing on a worksheet so you know exactly how we get to the figures. We're going to circle the bottom line, and we're going to give you a copy of it. And we're going to say, now if you want to go shop, go shop. Make sure that if you go to another car dealership, if they won't do the same thing we're doing, which is giving you an out-the-door price in writing, they're hiding something. I wouldn't buy from them. Most dealerships will. But there's a lot of dealerships that say, well, they want to negotiate. They don't want to put in writing. They don't want to sign anything. And I think if that's the case, I'd hightail it and walk out.
334 cars.
That's a lot of cars.
You know what that means? That I saw a really good-looking place in Car City the other day. It's a newer place that's been here. I'm not going to mention any names. They don't have any trucks. We have 41 trucks. You know, when you look at 20 used Toyotas in one place, or 35 used Chevrolets, or 42 used Fords, and you're easy to compare, that makes a big difference. Having it open it was historical on Saturday. It was 90 degrees out there. We had customers everywhere, and all you could hear were compliments. Man, that was great. I could look at it. That was great. I could look at it while I was waiting for a salesperson, or I was waiting to do this, or I was waiting to do that, and it makes a big difference. But that inventory helps you, the consumer. It doesn't really help us. It actually costs money to do all that, put all those cars out there, but it helps you, the consumer, make a decision while you're there. Ivan was talking about, and I have talking about making decisions today, tomorrow, the next day. When you have so much inventory and you can drive 3 or 4 different cars, just makes it easier for you. And my hat's off to the guys in the back. It's been 90, and 100 degrees. They keep these cars great. Jens is Ivan's brother. He's in control of all that with all those guys back there. They take care of the cars. They're clean. They got gas in them. So when you jump in one of our vehicles, we hand you a key to go take it for a demonstration ride with your wife or your daughter, your son, or whoever you're going with. You got some gas in it. It's safe. We put a tag on it, and away you go. And all our hats are off for those guys doing all that, keeping it nice and clean and ready to go.
Well, it's embarrassing when you're a car dealership and the first thing you want to do is if a customer wants to take a test drive, you start the car and the battery's dead.
Oh,
so we make sure that our cars are ready to go, that there's no check engine lights on, they're clean, they don't smell like smoke, that But they're just really nice cars. You'll notice that. And I get a lot of compliments from our customers that they've been on different lots, including franchise car lots, that say, wow, I can't believe the cleanliness of your cars. I can't believe how nice they are when they open the door and they smell good and they don't have any French fries laying underneath the seat. So the car, I mean, the cars are one thing, Ron, and we're not the only one who has nice cars, but I think we have a really good a good mix of nice cars.
Well, we have an idea what it takes. We know what we went through franchise dealerships, and some of our franchise dealerships I work for, they didn't have the cash flow to keep all these cars right, or they didn't have the cash flow to put gas in the cars, believe it or not. They didn't have the cash flow to do all the reconditioning.
Spend the money, put tires on it.
Spend the money, because that's basically cash flow out of your pocket to do all that and make it look good. And if a steering wheel, if a steering wheel is nasty and it's got two different tones, if you put that dye on there and you make it right and you do it back in, that's a great idea. If the bolster coming in the seat, it's got a little tear from wear and tear, and you fix that. That's the way you do things, and that's the way we do things at Frontier Motors.
We got a Lexus in this a couple days ago, Ron. It's an LX 460, which is the big one.
That car
is gorgeous,
the ultimate,
and it's a one-owner vehicle. It's got 30,000 miles on it. And Jens, our setup manager, came up to me and says, "What do you think about the tires on this?" And I looked at the tires. I said, "They're okay. They got 30,000 miles. They're probably 50,000 mile tires." He says, "Well, how much is the vehicle?" I said, "It's about $60,000." He said, "I would think let's put new tires on it." So what we're doing is we're putting brand new Michelins on. Now, most dealerships wouldn't, because they'll get away with, well, you still got another year's, maybe a year and a half of tread left on it. But when you're selling a vehicle in that price range, the vehicle's got to be perfect. So what we're doing is we're spending the money to put brand new tires on the vehicle. So when you buy the vehicle from us, and we'll put the receipt in the glove box. I'm sure those tires are going to be $1,200. And like Ron said, a lot of dealerships won't do that, either number one, because they want you to pay for it, and number two, they don't have the cash to do that. When you have 325 cars, and if it costs an average of $500 to $1,000 to get a car on the lot, you can just imagine how much that costs when you have 335 cars on the lot. So, and what we do is we spend money on our cars, we detail them, we make sure that there's no issues with them. If there's any check engine lights, we get them fixed. We go throughout the cars to make sure that when you look at them, that you'll say, wow, I really like this car.
And we've been gabbing on and on and on, almost for 30 minutes, and there's only 2 minutes left.
Can't believe that.
What else?
Well, we want to talk about Facebook. We want to make sure that you can follow us on Facebook. We've got a great Facebook page. Also, you can subscribe to us on YouTube. So we want to make sure that you check our YouTube page, and this show will be on YouTube. And we've got a great Facebook page. So like us on Facebook, and anytime we get something new, like the Corvette, as soon as we got that Corvette, we put it right on Facebook, because there's not any new Corvettes in stock. When I looked last month, Ron, there was one convertible, but it was like black, which I think was at either Pete Moore or Sandy Sensing had one. They had one coupe. Well, Frontier Motors has a pearl, I shouldn't say pearl, it's a white convertible with the new tan top. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it had 300 miles on it. I've been driving it. I love driving that car. We've got 3 people looking at it right now. It's not sold as of today, and it's got 1,000 miles on it.
We put that LX570 on Twitter. Robin did that. That is just awesome.
I don't do Twitter.
You should see all the hits and all the questions and all the things.
Twitter.
Pretty neat. Yeah, pretty neat. Well, if you want to see us get drenched with water, it's on our Facebook page, Facebook Frontier Motors, or Facebook WCOA. Don had to get a little bit of water on him.
I got wet too.
A lot of water.
I got a lot of water on them. They poured very, very slow. It got in my shoes. I'll tell you what, that was a lot of water. But if you want a good used car, you want to buy a car instead of get sold a car. If you want to look at cars while they're open, you want to look at a bunch of cars, you got to come to Frontier Motors. We're located at 230 Beverly Parkway, extension of Brent Lane. Come down Brent Lane, hop over 29 on the right-hand side. Come down Michigan Avenue, hop over W Street, right on the left-hand side. Remember, everybody drives a used car.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.